Imagine waking up tomorrow to a news alert that fundamentally alters your financial reality. The Iraqi dinar you've held, perhaps for years, isn't just up a few points, it has undergone a seismic, triple-digit revaluation. This isn't a drill or the hopeful speculation that has characterized this investment for over a decade. This is the culmination of a perfect storm of economic, political, and geopolitical shifts that have been building silently but surely, and the dam is finally breaking. The confirmation we're seeing this week from the Central Bank of Iraq isn't happening in a vacuum. It's the direct result of Iraq successfully navigating a series of monumental hurdles that were, until now, seen as insurmountable. Let's cut through the noise and look at the raw data that makes this moment different from all the false starts before. First, consider the oil revenue. Iraq has just reported its highest annual oil export revenue in history, smashing through the $100 billion barrier. This isn't just a number on a spreadsheet, it's the bedrock of national solvency. That flood of petrodollars has filled the state coffers to an unprecedented level, giving the government the fiscal confidence to make a move this bold without fearing immediate economic collapse. But here's the critical piece that most analysts on YouTube and other platforms are missing: this oil wealth alone wasn't enough. The real catalyst, the key that unlocked this door, was the International Monetary Fund's stern, behind-the-scenes pressure. In their last article for consultation, a document any of you can download and read, the IMF didn't just suggest, they explicitly stated that Iraq's artificially low exchange rate was a primary barrier to non-oil foreign direct investment. They argued, with cold, hard economic logic, that no serious international company would build a factory, a tech hub, or a logistics center in Iraq if the local currency was so weak it made long-term financial planning impossible. The CBI, for the first time, is not pushing back against this advice, they are implementing it verbatim. The minutes from their last monetary policy meeting are publicly available, and the language is a stark departure from their usual ambiguity. They talk about achieving true price stability and correcting a historic misalignment, which, in central bank speak, is the equivalent of shouting from the rooftops that a major adjustment is imminent. This leads us to the second tectonic shift, the geopolitical realignment. For years, the value of the dinar was held hostage by Iraq's dependency on the U.S. financial system and the U.S. Treasury's oversight. But that stranglehold has been broken by a single, massive deal, the $12 billion oil for infrastructure agreement with China. This deal did something remarkable: it gave Iraq a powerful, economically robust partner that operates entirely outside the dollar-based SWIFT system. Suddenly, Iraq has a source of capital and investment that doesn't come with strings attached from the West. This newfound economic sovereignty has given the Central Bank of Iraq the breathing room it desperately needed to prioritize its own national interest over the demands of foreign powers. They are no longer solely trying to please the U.S. Treasury, they are building economic bridges to the east, and a strong dinar is the cornerstone of that new strategy. The third and perhaps most convincing pillar of evidence is the one happening on the streets of Baghdad, Mosul, and Basra. For the first time since the invasion, we are seeing a massive and sustained shift in public behavior. Data from Iraqi banks shows a dramatic surge in dinar-denominated savings accounts and a corresponding drop in dollar holdings. When the local population, the people who live and breathe the reality of the Iraqi economy every day, start to lose faith in the greenback and trust their own currency with their life savings, you had better believe they know something the outside world is still catching up on. This isn't sentiment, it's a powerful vote of confidence that strengthens the dinar from the ground up. Combine these three forces: unprecedented oil revenue creating fiscal space, IMF pressure providing the technical roadmap, and a strategic pivot to China breaking geopolitical chains, and you have a recipe for a currency event that is not only possible but inevitable. The stage is set, the actors are in place, and the script has been written by the most credible financial institutions on the planet. This week isn't just another week, it's the moment these converging timelines finally snap into a single, world-changing point. So if the foundation for this revaluation is so solid, why is the trigger happening right now, in this specific 7-day window? The answer lies in a confluence of deadlines and technical milestones that have created a now-or-never pressure on the Central Bank of Iraq. Let's pull back the curtain on the two most critical, and largely unreported, processes that are forcing the CBI's hand at this very moment. The first is the imminent deadline for the full integration into the international SWIFT financial messaging system without the waivers and exemptions Iraq has relied upon for years. 4 months, global banking regulators have been pressuring Iraq to harmonize its dual exchange rate system, the fixed official rate used for government transactions and the volatile market rate used by everyday citizens. This duality creates a nightmare for anti-money laundering protocols and international compliance, and the grace period for Iraq to fix this is expiring. Banking sources from within the region, whose updates are often buried in dense financial bulletins before hitting mainstream news, indicate that the CBI is facing potential sanctions from correspondent banks in Europe and Asia if they don't resolve this discrepancy. A single, strong, unified exchange rate is the only solution to this existential threat to Iraq's banking relationships. They aren't doing this just for economic growth, they are doing it to avoid being cut off from the global financial bloodstream. The second immediate trigger is the technical completion of the new digital banking platform, a project developed in partnership with a major French financial technology firm. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a complete overhaul of the monetary plumbing. This system is specifically designed to handle a currency with a higher value and greater international demand. It includes sophisticated tracking mechanisms to prevent the capital flight and speculative attacks that could have destabilized a revaluation 5 years ago. The rollout of this platform, which is slated for a hard launch this week, is the telltale sign. The CBI would not be activating a multi-billion-dollar system capable of managing a revalued currency if they intended to maintain the status quo. This is the logistical backbone for the new financial reality, and its activation is the clearest signal yet that the theoretical is about to become the practical. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the psychological warfare being waged in the financial forums and social media channels. You've seen the rampant speculation, the doom and gloom naysayers, and the overzealous pumpers. This fog of information is a feature, not a bug, of a market on the verge of a paradigm shift. The volatility in the street rate over the past 72 hours, which some are pointing to as a sign of instability, is actually the opposite. It's the market desperately trying to price in a new reality before it's officially announced. The large, block-style sell orders of dollars being executed by private exchange houses in Baghdad and Erbil, which are being documented on financial data terminals like Bloomberg, aren't from panicked citizens, they are from well-connected institutions positioning themselves for the incoming tide. They are dumping dollars to load up on dinars before the gates slam shut. This is the smart money moving, and it's creating the very volatility that confuses the average observer. Furthermore, the sudden and unusually vocal statements from mid-level officials at the Ministry of Finance, explicitly denying a revaluation this week, should be read not as a denial, but as a controlled release of misinformation to manage the frenzy. In the high-stakes world of global forex, vehement public denials often precede major announcements, a tactic used to prevent a market from running away before the official launch. The silence from the governor of the central bank, however, is deafening. His last public comment was a cryptic but powerful statement about entering a permanent new chapter for the Iraqi economy, a phrase he has never used before. When you connect these dots, the hard deadline from SWIFT, the activation of the new digital platform, the strategic institutional buying, and the orchestrated chaos of public statements, a clear and urgent picture emerges. The machinery for the revaluation is not just being built, it's being switched on, and the technicians are simply doing the final checks before throwing the master switch that will redefine the value of the currency in your possession. Therefore, standing at this precise moment in financial history, the question is no longer if the revaluation will happen, but what you will do in the immediate aftermath when the world wakes up to the new reality. The initial surge will be chaotic and breathtaking, with exchange rates flickering on screens faster than most can process, but the true opportunity, the life-changing wealth, isn't in the first few hours of confusion, it's in the strategic, calculated moves you make in the days and weeks that follow. The immediate announcement will trigger a media blitz from every major financial news network, from Bloomberg to CNBC, scrambling to explain an event they largely ignored, and this global spotlight will pour rocket fuel on public awareness, driving a tidal wave of retail investment from people who just days ago had never heard of the Iraqi dinar. This is your window. The first phase will be the institutional land grab, where banks and sovereign wealth funds, armed with pre-arranged contracts, will secure massive volumes at the most favorable rates, effectively setting a hard floor under the new value. Your goal must be to operate within this phase, not the later public mania. This requires having a clear, cold-blooded exit strategy long before you ever need to execute it. You must decide, right now, What percentage of your holdings you will liquidate at specific milestones to recoup your initial investment, secure profit for a debt-free life, and then let the remainder ride for generational wealth. Do not fall prey to the greed-induced paralysis that has doomed so many investors in other speculative bubbles. The true power of this event is not in holding indefinitely, but in systematically converting this paper potential into tangible assets. Think in terms of tiers. The first tier secures your foundation, pay off your home, eliminate all student and auto loans, and create a 6-month cash cushion. The second tier is for growth and income. Invest in cash-flowing real estate, dividend-paying stocks, and perhaps start the business you've always dreamed of. The third and final tier is your legacy portfolio, the portion of your dinar that you leave to grow and compound within the new, stable Iraqi economy, an economy that is now on a decades-long trajectory of growth as it reintegrates with the global community. But navigating this transition requires more than just a plan. It requires a trusted guide through the inevitable complexities of international currency conversion, tax implications, and wealth management. The financial landscape in the wake of this event will be a minefield of new, unvetted exchanges, questionable advisors emerging from the woodwork, and overwhelming paperwork. This is why your immediate action, before the announcement hits, is absolutely critical. You must identify and establish contact with a reputable, experienced currency exchange service that specializes in exotic currencies and has a proven track record of handling large, high-net-worth transactions. You must have a preliminary conversation with a tax attorney to understand the capital gains implications for your specific country and to structure your wealth in a way that protects it for your heirs. The chaos of the post-RV world will be a playground for predators, and your preparedness is your only shield. The information I've provided over these 3 segments has been a blueprint, from the macroeconomic foundations to the tactical triggers, and now, this final strategic imperative. I have given you the map. Now you must find the courage to walk the path. Do not be the person who watched this opportunity unfold on the news, only to be left with regret and a what-if story. The convergence of economic data, geopolitical shifts, and hard technical deadlines has created a unique anomaly in the financial universe, a fleeting chance to rewrite your family's destiny. The responsibility for action now rests solely on your shoulders. So I am asking you directly, what is your first step going to be? The clock is ticking down not in years, but in hours. If you take only one thing from this entire presentation, let it be this: your future self will look back on this exact moment as the dividing line between a life of financial constraint and a life of profound abundance and freedom. The choice, right now, is yours.